So today we are directly finally. So hello guys, in south of France we have some expression. We say it's delay from Bordeaux. It's about 15 minutes. So I'm already living for 8 years, so that's why I'm quite late today. But finally we're gonna make our direct. So we are waiting for Gio from Portugal. He's coming as well. And my delay today, it was like the first weekend that we allowed in France to go to the beach side. So that's why we were in the traffic jam. I'm so sorry. We've done our best to come here. And I'm sure you're gonna enjoy our discussion today. And it will be in English this time, so don't be shy to make the questions. And so hello. Very glad to see you all. So pleased about this. And if you're interested about Portuguese wine, you want to know what is the trends there, so Jay will explain us, but you may also participate and write us some questions. And so here's Gio, and just one moment. So hello. Hi Gio.
Hello. How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very nice. So I'm a little bit sorry for this delay, but in France we have this expression about 15 minutes of delay.
In
So
Portugal, you
we're
can
in the
delay
south.
for two
We're in the
hours. It's okay.
south. Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy to see you. So you're looking great.
Thank you.
So
You too.
where are you now? In what city?
I'm in Porto,
In
so like I'm
Porto?
based already a long time. Yes.
Okay. And what weather is there? Is it
I
warm?
I think it's perfect for tonight. It's like 25 or something. It's very sunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really twin city with Bordeaux. Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are close. We are close climate, Atlantic.
yeah, that's why we have great wines everywhere. And tell us about yourself. How long have you been in wine making, wine business? So, what are you doing in wine?
So today I'm already 2 years living in Porto. I
Yeah.
was finished my master degree in wine, which was in Portugal the last semester, and I also came to harvest in 2018 in Douro, and I fell in love with Portugal, with people, with culture, and so since this time I'm still here working. I was studying also in Bordeaux, in
Mm.
Spain. Yes, so we are almost the same university. I think you're also studying in ICV, no?
No.
No. Okay, sorry. So I was studying in ICV in Bordeaux and in
So,
Tarragona.
just for me, it's the famous ISVV. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Institute of Science of
yeah.
Wines.
It's everywhere. This one.
Okay. Sorry for my English.
No. So it's also my fault. More my fault, I think. Yeah. So and after I finished my degree 1 year ago, I still want to be here, and I decided to stay here. I did make my first wine in 2019 in Vino Verde. And
Mm-hmm.
from now 2 months ago, I start to import Georgian wines and distribute.
Wow.
Yes, so, and I'm more and more, in the good way, I'm stuck in Portugal because I enjoy, and I want to do as much as possible as I can. Yeah.
And did you manage to come to Bordeaux? You have been working in Russia as a winemaker, or
No, I'm Georgian
yeah?
by ethnics, but I grew up in Russia. So until almost 20 years old, I was living in Russia most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not connected to wine or professionally, but all Georgians connect to wine.
Yes, I think it's
So
in the blood.
yeah. It's like they say, our blood is wine. So it's also a big reason of it. Afterwards, my father was always making wine like homemade style, very very simple, and I was helping him many times. And after what I wanted always to live in Georgia when I was 20, and I found degree about wine, and I really think that it will good choice to go because afterwards it will be connected to Georgia very much. Plus, I like wines before, so it's like starts my passion because of this. Like I'm lucky, I was graduated from my study. I was had scholarship, and I went to Tarragona for first semester, and so 3 years more or less I'm in wine professionally. Before only drinking and helping.
So tell us the truth. How old have you been when you first tried your wine?
3 years old.
3 years old. You still remember this taste?
No, I don't remember, but I have a video which
Really?
we drink from horns in Georgia sometimes, and I have a horn in video where I'm trying wine. So I was 3 years old, yeah.
Okay.
But it was just a sip, I think, maximum. It's okay.
But do you remember? Have you enjoyed or not?
No, I don't remember. I just remember video.
And is it traditional in Georgia, like in French we say baptême?
To drink in 3 years old? No, it's not traditional.
No, just to taste. It's not really drinking.
No, yes, I think it's a lot of people, parents can give to smell, to taste a little bit, like a drop in the ocean, but it's not like, but we start to drink maybe since 14, 15 already, like a glass, we can drink.
Like everywhere.
Yeah, like in wine countries, it's there.
But is it every time wine or another drinks? I don't know, beverages.
You mean today or in total?
In total.
No. Let's say I can say 95% of consuming today it's wine. Sometimes I drink beer, cocktails, but 95% will be wine. Yeah.
Okay. So, and what about winemaking in Portugal? So tell us, because I think many people who have never been to Portugal, who is not really working in wine, but when you say Portugal, so first of all, it's port wines.
Yeah.
But you know that, you know better than me that in Portugal, it's not the first wine that people appreciate. I don't know. What do they really drink, and what is the wine production there?
So, by statistics, Portuguese is the biggest consuming country per person of wine. So, Portuguese drinks a lot. In Georgia, we don't have statistics more or less because it's not registered, and here it's registered wine. So,
but we can trust you.
I believe I make a trip to Georgia 1 year ago with Portuguese winemakers and Spanish, and they was always saying Portuguese and Spanish drinks more than others. But after they came to Georgia, they say maybe Georgia drinks more. So it was a big another thing that in Portugal it's it's like in France it's very typical that in lunchtime and dinner time people drink a glass or 2 glasses of wine in family or during work, and here's the same. What is the different thing that Portuguese wines mostly still for now it's big wines. If you speak about Douro, if you speak about Alentejo.
But tell us about the wine regions, because I think people not everybody knows where is the wine growing in Portugal. Where is the vines?
Oh, so we have everywhere
everywhere, really?
Of course, everywhere. Because not like 100%, but in case of agriculture, Portugal is the second place in the world in case of how many grapes you have in agriculture. So around 10% of all agriculture is vineyards. So it's in all the regions. Even in the islands like Madeira, Azores, you have vineyards. So.
But I have heard there is a lot of original autochthone wine grapes that it's really only in Portugal where you can find them.
Yeah. We have in Portugal 250 grapes of 250 grapes. It's a lot. In Georgia we have 550, which more than twice more. But in Portugal, people use a lot of indigenous varieties. We still have international varieties, mostly in Alentejo, I believe. But also most of the producers try to make nowadays local varieties. Yeah.
And you told us that you are winemaker. So what grape variety do you work with?
So I just started my first vintage, which will be bottled, I hope, in less than 2 months. But I do only one variety for now. It's Albarino, which is quite famous in Spain, in Portugal. In Portugal, it's Albarino. In Spain, Albarino, but it's the same variety. So it's one of my favorite variety in total. In case of white grapes, I really love Chenin Blanc, I really love Riesling, Albarino. So it's because of it. In Portugal, maybe white grapes, my favorite it is. And I decided to make wine with a little bit Georgian philosophy.
And what is the Georgian philosophy in wine? So tell us.
Georgia is very famous for the skin contact wines, as most of the people know, yes, and very famous for Qvevri wines. My first wine was made not in Qvevri, but made in amphora, which is also clay, and but it was not like burned in the ground; it was staying. So. But what was philosophy is that it was organic vineyards. It was 40% skins, around 20% stems, all made with the hands, destemming, punch downs 2 times per day with the hands.
And what is the volume of your amphora?
Oh, it was only 1,000 liters, so it's very small production because afterwards it was around 750 liters in total, because after we pressed the skins and we lost a lot of production, of course. So it will be only around 850 bottles, 900 bottles in the first vintage. Next vintage, I hope I will manage much more, but it was the beginning, yeah.
We hope too. And do you already know where we will find your wines? It will be the local distribution, or it's only, I don't know, for request?
It's my goal. It's because it's project not only mine, it's project also with a very famous winery in Vino Verde in Melgasso. The name is Aldero. It's our common project. Also another Georgian girl who was involved in management. So it's like we are 3 persons who integrated between each other and promoting. And the goal is to distribute and to export as much as possible to different places. So like, let's say, in Portugal, for sure, will be some quantity, but I would love to bring something to Georgia. I would love to bring something to Russia and, let's say, US, UK. So as much as possible, like, let's say 10 cases to one country, 10 cases to another country, and to like also for drinking for friends. And so it's as much as possible to show for next year, you know.
And what about the Portuguese people? Because, you know, we live in Porto here. People is not really very open to see new trends, to permit, I don't know, the foreign people to make something special in their wineries. Is it more easy? Is it easy in Portugal? Tell us about your experience. How have you been searching for your winery, actual winery?
So I was, since beginning, when I arrived to Harvest, I was lucky that I meet maybe the best people which I could. They're super open-minded and they're very generous. They're my like friends, or even when I came to Harvest, they're a very famous producer nowadays, Luis Seabra. He's getting like iconic in Portugal, and he's for me like nowadays, and his wife is like second parents for me. So I was very lucky to be, and after I meet a lot of good people, when I finished my Harvest, I moved to Porto for my study, and here you have a very famous wine bar named Proa, and it was, and still now it's my second home, because I spent over 2, 3, even 5 times per week. I go to the wine bar.
So what are you doing there in wine bar? Are you working or are you tasting?
No. It's always wine people. It's always it's opening blind tasting bottles. It's always sharing. It's always people wants to show wines, to speak about wines, about vineyards. It's like always you speak about what you want to speak. And always best people who wants to know about wine, who wants to travel. A lot of international people coming around. And during 2 years, it was always the same thing, that I was involved in wineries, in vineyards, and visiting wine bars a lot, drinking a lot, tasting a lot. So it was like getting my passion more and more. And people, again, that I meet is always very open-minded, very friendly. of course, Portugal is a conservative country and still works. A lot of things should be done. But what is my opinion? Like I'm Georgian, in my soul, in my blood, that we are very, very close with Portuguese in many things. We really like to share. We're really friendly. We are very generous. We are very family connected, and it's really like my country and my type of people. So I really enjoy to live here. Yeah.
And do you speak Portuguese? Is it easy, the integration like this? Only speaking English, or I don't know, do you speak French with them?
It's easy. It's easy because
easy?
all Portuguese almost, let's say about cities, everyone speaks English. Only in villages, not so much, but most of the people speak English. It's a big problem for me sometimes. I'm just start to learn not long time ago, so I can understand maybe 20-40%, but speak also basics. But now I decide to learn very much because I need to speak Portuguese because I will stay here for a long time. But it's not easy language for sure, but I need to learn the language. But also everyone speaks English because even TV in Portugal, you have in English. So even from childhood, people always listening TV, children, so they get used to speak always.
Okay, great. We should make the same in France,
yeah,
because
it was
here...
it was a big problem. I was living in Bordeaux. It was very big problem with the French people to speak English.
Yeah, but hope one day we'll get the same level of English in our region as well. And about the Georgian way of winemaking, because last year we were in Alentejo and we visited some wineries where they make wine in Talia. So is it the same process like Georgian men do, or there is some difference?
No. Do you remember which winery you visited or not?
Suza, I think it was something like this, and it's a big amphora.
It can be different size. It can be 1,000, 2,000 liters here. It's very famous in Alentejo, mostly the Talia production. It's, let's say, what is a similar. It's Talia, like Quevri. It's made from clay. It's only the same thing. Other, let's say, about vinification process, about how the skins contact or not, or even the punch downs in different made with different things. And also it's the Quevri is always worked underground, so in the earth. And the Alentejo, no, but only standing up. So it's different, of course, technology, but there is clay is also.
And your wine that you're making now, is it buried or it's standing?
No, it's in the next harvest. We are going to bring the Quevri. I want to bring Quevri, but is the logistic point, it's quite difficult now because it's always big demand. So
wow.
But this year we are going to birth amphora from Spain, but we are going to do it birth. So it will be not Quevri, but Spanish ones.
Okay. But in Georgia, do you continue to produce the Quevri, or it's really authentic one like it was in Alentejo? Because in Alentejo, I understood that it's a big problem. They can't find this amphoras. It's not doing anymore. And do you produce it in Georgia?
In Georgia, of course, it's getting more and more famous, and a lot of people still waiting sometimes 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years just to receive the Quevri because it's very high demand. And now a lot of people start to recover all production. It's still not enough because only maybe 10 people in Georgia makes Quevri. So it's very handmade. So it's a very long process. And in case of Alentejo, I'm not sure. I think still you can get production. It's not so much common that people do Talia. Mostly people use the old Talias, but I think you can still find some producers. I'm not sure. I never tried to buy Talia new one, so from Alentejo I cannot say.
But maybe it's easy if you bring some Georgian masters to Portugal and they will do a Quevri for you on place.
It's even not enough masters in Georgia because I say the demand is much higher than the.
But it can be your friends, so you bring them.
No, but it's not enough. I think Portugal has masters. It's not about people who cannot. So I think you can still continue. So I cannot say about it too much because I never try to buy and try to investigate why and what is going on.
And your father, how does he make wine? Is it Quevre production or is it something more traditional?
It's very simple. It's very simple. My father made wine. So my father now lives in Russia, close to Rostov, the name city of Shachty. He makes wine very basic. So he like plastic lager, like 500 liters, let's say. He just crush grapes and put for fermentation, let's say 2 weeks, white and red, and after he separate juice to age in the sometimes in glass bottle, sometimes is can be kind of barrel. It depends on. So it's very. My father makes it for consuming. It's not commercial ones. So he makes wine to drink next year to share with friends, like this. It's not commercial.
Okay. So.
And what? And how is going? What are you doing now?
What I'm doing now. So, it's a lockdown already passed, but the wine tourism in Porto, it's not really started up. So for a moment, I'm preparing my WCT 3 level. So I got like every day reading of the books. And I hope that with the beginning of summer, things will go better. And like this, I will be back to work. But for a moment, I'm quite free.
Okay.
But normally I'm in Southern vineyard, so as I told you last time.
Yeah.
So hope one day I will be back.
As soon I think. Yeah,
And
very easy. Yes, you can go already to vineyards.
I don't remember if I mentioned to you, but we have the Cité du Vin. It's like a wine museum in Bordeaux, and the first exhibition that took place there when it was opened, it was about winemaking in Georgia.
Yes.
And I remember very well that I come to visit this museum, and it was a wine tasting of wine in Quevre. So Georgian guys come to Bordeaux to present the orange wine, and it was interesting to see the French reaction, because for us, especially Bordeaux people, it was something, wow, we've never drunk something looking like this. And how about Portuguese people? Because it's I don't know. How did they react to taste the Quevre wine?
So, yes, I understand what you mean. It's also not easy, but what is my goal for now? I only bring very small quantity now, and because now each bars, wine shops, they are closed. So I can sell only private people. In my networking is normally very wine people. So they know about Georgia, they taste some Georgian wine, so they know that skin contact, what is it. It will be more problem with people who doesn't know what is it. Like someone buy like
do you
wine
have
shop.
a lot of people like this, or it's really like fashion for wines?
And so today, Georgia is very famous, even in France. So people know that Georgia is famous for skin contact and for Quevre. So for people already know that orange wine, it's not easy to drink sometimes. It depends. For instance, if you speak about Emirati region, it's very easy drinking skin contact wine. If you speak about Cajete, it's more heavy because it's more bigger wine, it's more tannin, so it's more alcohol level. It depends also. But people, I believe that really enjoy. So who already tried my wines which I brought, they really like the skin contact wines and like experience. Yeah.
Okay.
In France, I also saw it's even the Quevres in the entrance you can see in the La Cité de Vigne.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So the trends comes even to Bordeaux. And what about another wine trends in consumption? What Portuguese people normally drink? I know it depends on the region, of course, but in general.
Let's say, like I spent 99% time with the wine people who really loves wine. For me, I cannot easy to say what is the normal. I know what people normally drink, but which I hang out people, they're very different in case of wine consumption. We always drink international wines, or we drink wines of different places, light style, mostly elegant style. We don't like big wines. Let's say we are 50 people who we are hanging out. We are more or less the same style. We're always trying to drink different regions, different countries, always doing blind tastings. But in case of normal consumer, normally people drinks wines from their regions. So if it's Alentejo, people drink Alentejo. If it's Barada, people drink Barada. So it's like most of the countries like this. Very
And in Lisbon, what people drink?
In Lisbon, we have a lot of wine production. But Lisbon is the most open market, so it's also the biggest city and the most richest people. So you have a lot of nowadays natural wine bars. You have a lot of wine places, a lot, and people are more open-minded. In Porto, people are more conservative. So it's also my friend who has a best wine bar in Porto. He always have a problem with the consumers who is coming. Oh, what do you have? Why you wine so different? We want something like classic Douro. And he doesn't have classic Douro because classic Douro is wine which you need food, you need something like heavy food and.
You mean red or white?
Red ones mostly, and even white. It's not normally it's alcoholic. Also, if you speak about Douro, it's quite hot region. I'm not talking about all wine production, but most of the wines.
Okay, so if we could make a sum, it's something like very regional production, and people are more patriotic, so they drink.
People drink mostly like wines of the region. Lisbon, it can be different wines, but again, it will be very famous Alentejo. It can be very famous Douro, for instance. Like, it also very famous Vinho Verde. Vinho Verde, I think, very famous everywhere because it's normally very standard style in case of people like to drink acidity, good acidity, fresh, fruity, and Vinho Verde is very famous for this type of wine, mostly Melgaço. Like, it's very famous in all Portugal, in Lisbon mostly.
So it should be very difficult for you in this case to sell your wine because you are like a foreigner. I don't know.
Well, no. I was, as far as I said, so my purpose is mostly to show my wines to wine people and wine people understand. Because I don't have a quantity. So if I make 100,000, it's another thing. But if I had 900 bottles, it's like I bring Georgia wines, 250 bottles in 2 weeks, I'm sold out. So it's 900 bottles. What is it?
But do you have some bars where you can find like wines from all over the world? I don't know. Or it's only
yes, it's more in Lisbon. You have places like Wines by Heart. You have Vinho Vero, which is also very famous in Venice, and they open also in Lisbon. It's also have some restaurants like fine dining when you have a lot of wines. In Porto, you can maybe in 20 places in Porto, you still can find a lot of international wines. But in case of classic places, if you go to like just a normal cafe or normal
it's like in Bordeaux, I see.
Yeah, it's normally it will be 99 of wines, it will be Portuguese wines, but around 20-25 places you can find a lot of international wines.
So, and what is the Portuguese wine revolution that's coming now?
Okay, so it's my project which started 1 year ago, 2 months ago, I think, the first post. So I fell in love in these Portuguese wines with people, and again, I believe that Portuguese is so unknown worldwide. People doesn't speak about Portugal in case of best wine. And so my purpose of Portuguese Revolution is to show the best wine, the people who knows much more about vineyards, vinification, who is like can be like to put marks in the map of wine world. And people again doesn't speak almost nowhere about Portugal, only about port wines or Madeira, but the other wines is not known. It was my idea that to promote internationally, not local. My purpose is not national market, it's outside.
And so how do you manage to find people that you would like to talk about? Because
yes, it's like you can check it. So I think now around 15, 18 people maybe there already. Maybe I still have only 5, 6 more which I want to write about. It's not too much again.
But you make some wine tasting, you travel around the region, or what do you do?
Yeah, I visit a lot of wineries. I visit maybe 100 wineries in Portugal. And I always, like I said before, that I'm always with wine people. And I always speak about wine. I was going to wine fairs. I always taste. So I don't know, per year, I don't know how many thousands of bottles I can taste. So it's like this. And so I start to speak about wine. What is the people like? What is my taste? What I really like? And what is the most important of Portuguese Revolution is philosophy. So people who has common philosophy, they want to. It's more about enthusiastic people who want to show the best they can, and using a low intervention way, let's say. So normally, most of the people there is organic vineyards or biodynamic vineyards, which I write about. It's always most of the people they use low quantity of sulfur. It's people who doesn't use new oak. It's people who doesn't use a lot of extraction. So they try to make wine without makeup. So it's my goal to promote the beauty wines, which give you salinity in mouth, which give you emotions.
And what about the wine fairs in Portugal? Because in Bordeaux we have a great occasion to taste our wines, even if they are not really ready during the primaries, le primeur. And in Portugal, do wine producers present their wines for experts, or how
Yes,
does
of
it
course.
work?
You have a lot of. You don't have like en primeur because en primeur you sell your wine for next year
Yeah.
normal. In Portugal, you have also in the wine fairs people show samples which they are going to bottle, let's say in half year, but they don't sell this wine, of course.
But it's also in April, or what time?
No. The most in Porto, the biggest one is going last week of February. It's two different fairs. One is Ciência de Vinho, which is the biggest one. It's, I don't know, around 200 producers or 300 producers there. Another one at the same time, which is going Simplesmente Vinho. It's like boutique wineries, small sizes, like authentic producers. Yes, so it's my favorite one, and I believe it's the best in Portugal. But it's in Porto, last week of February. So if someone wants to taste good Portuguese wines, it's the best time to come for wine fair.
Oh, I'm so sad now because I were here like 2 years ago, exactly in this time, but I did not know about this. So we did just tours around the Douro Valley, but that was great.
Yeah, another thing also is that in Lisbon we have some events. A lot of importers organizing events like the shopping of distributors. You also in last year it was in July, a very good one. Os Galhardos importer, very good ones. Around 40 producers was showing wines, but this year I don't think it will happen because all events is cancelled, of course. So, but the best time it's in Porto. It's the last week of February. It's 4 days going, one big event, and 2 days another small event.
Okay, so we will note in our agenda. And if we talk about the wine tourism in Portugal, for example, for people who want to know more about wines and about not only about Portos, but something very traditional, what regions would you advise, or maybe some wineries? Where is it really interesting to travel?
Let's say, if I can say in different regions, of course, in the most famous people go to Douro. But I like the people to go to another region because my favorite region, like Bairrada, Dão, and Vino Verde, or even Lisbon, it's very nice places to see.
So I will try to find a map. So to find where is Bairrada?
Bairrada is very close to Porto. It's like 1 hour down by car.
So it's not very away.
It's like 40 minutes by car from Porto. You have a lot of nice places to see. You can see like the best sample if you can manage to arrange Filipa Pato. It's a very good tourism because you are going to vineyards, and after that, she is very famous producer, and her husband is William Waters. He is the president of Sommelier in Belgium for now. Already not now, but he was very famous guy, president of Association of Sommelier, and he is also owners a lot of restaurants in Belgium before. And now he moved to Bairrada with his wife Filipa, and they make wine. And when you go to there, for instance, they organize a big lunch with fine dining. You go to vineyards, you go to wineries. It's very amazing experience. Also nice place if you go to her father, which is also famous guy, Luis Pato, or in Bairrada again. In Vino Verde, I can say also very good place to go, like Afro. It's very close by. It can be 40 minutes driving. Ponte de Lima, a very beautiful village. They're not so much in tourism, but they are getting more and more.
So I will try to show the map. So this is Porto, and this is Braga.
So
and we should go which direction?
We go down to the south. It's difficult to see from your phone the names here. So no, it's like one. If you go Porto and a little bit down, Aveiro, it's close to Aveiro. You see the yellow one?
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 minutes from Aveiro, more or less. So
Okay.
Aveiro is also a very nice place to see. If you go to Aveiro, it's good to go to Bairrada, for instance. And if for it's a very nice place to see Melgaço, which is in the border with Spain, and I'm making wines there.
Spain. So it should be.
No, the north of border, the north. It's like the green one you see.
Mm-hmm.
No, the orange one. So more or less it will be like there in the corner. So in the corner of Portugal of orange, you have the Melgaço, and it's like very famous for Alvarinho place. And you have there like Solero, very famous wine, which is like famous internationally, local, like the most famous winery I think in the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we know where to go.
And also, if we go to Lisbon, it's a very good place maybe to visit Évora. It's 1 hour ago. It's very like a castle. Maybe you were there. And 10 minutes
Yeah,
from
I've been there, yes, but I would guess not everybody. So Évora, it will be here, the blue one.
Yeah. And 10 minutes away from Évora, you have a Fita Preta winery, which is a very famous producer today, Antonio Massanita. It's like a star. He was the best winemaker in 2018. So, and he has a castle. He has a lot of tourists. It's a beautiful place and a lot of good wines. So if you go to Évora, it's very, very, like my favorite choice, I think, to go to Fita Preta.
So I think now, after our live interview, you should make us a little list that we can put on Instagram, that people know where to go. And what about the wine experience? Wineries suggest there if there is something special, like participate in the harvest time or to make some local dishes. Do you know something?
You mean winery which visit in harvest time or what?
Yes, wineries that you can visit during the harvest time or that make some very special experience.
Okay, like again, that Fita Preta, for instance, which is close to Évora, they're doing a lot of things. Even you can do a 1 day winemaking. So you're going to vineyards.
Oh, wow.
Somebody called me. You go to vineyards, you pick grapes, you go to sorting table.
No, something calling. Somebody calling again.
Yes, again. And so you pick grapes, you sorting table. You do after you do go to plastic lagar. Lagar is famous in Portugal when you do stomping by hands. So it was in old time, like if it's Russian people, they know Celentano, so more or less the same stuff. And you do so this experience. You sorting, you do lagar, and after the process, and after you have a big dinner. So it's an amazing place to go. And also they have winemaker who is like to sing fado. So it's also like very nice place.
And have you participated in the winemaking when you need to press the grapes with your feet?
Yeah. Even my wine which I made. So this Tina, who is also just write the comment. We are doing this stemming by hands, and after we have some 40% skins and stems. We do by feet. We did stomping by feet. So we don't use pressed.
Because for me, it's something very special. I've been working in Margo, and every time people say so, I mean the local winemakers, that it's very important to not touch the skin of the grapes. It should be completely stained, but you make completely the opposite. Could you explain for me and for my guest as well, what does it use for?
Normally the stomping by feet is very elegant way. Because you're doing without shoes, so only your skin's touching other skin. And normally you just press, so you don't crush so much grape. It's, for instance, the best sport production made still like this because it's most elegant way. If you do vertical press, it's also elegant, but if pneumatic press, it's already not so elegant way or other type of press. So stomping, it's very, very nice. It's also sometimes you still grapes, which is still like carbonic stays, because you cannot crush all 100%. Maybe it depends how much you stomach, of course, and how much you weight, maybe. But anyways, so it's very like light style, more fresher and more elegant normally.
Okay, so we have a lot of machines, but the best way of making it's still
It's not.
the.
I don't say it's best way, but it's very good way. I really like the do stomping, and I really like to do with the vertical press because you do it very like handcrafted and very manual, and you taste juice, so you easier to control how much tannins you have, how much extraction you have. Yeah.
And very interesting for me personally, because in Porto, for harvest time, there is a lot of foreign people coming from all over the world, especially from Spain or Germany or Poland. And who works during the harvest time in Portugal? Is it only local people or there is some special tourists? I don't know.
It depends. No, tourist doesn't work. Tourists, you can also go indoor. A lot of places they're organizing harvest time like 1 day experience that you do. Stomping in Lagos can be so huge, so it can be 10 people inside, and you have a music, you have a party. And
Wow.
yeah,
Right.
it's typical. Yeah, you have a very old Lagos, which is made from stones, for instance. And it's very nice experience again. And also you can do in the end of blending between different for port, so you have a different experience. For instance, if you go to Indoro, like Cavella winery or Boa Vista, they do a lot of experience close by, like with the lagars during the harvest time, for instance. And but who is working? Mostly working, of course, Portuguese people. But Portugal likes to have students, for instance. Even my degree, it's half a group, which we have international people like me. I came to harvest to Portugal, so we have a lot of different. In Fita Preta, I was in last harvest with 2 weeks. In close to Alentejo, we had around 10 different people, like
Are you paid?
Argentina, Chile, Portugal, Spain, so different people, different countries, and a lot of people.
Very great experience.
Yeah, it's amazing experience.
Okay, and let's talk about the local gastronomy because Portugal is very, very rich. And for example, if you make some party, I don't know, special dinner in your home, and you would like to surprise Portuguese people, Portuguese guests, what would you prepare? If it will be the local food, or you prefer to make something international, and especially what wine would you suggest for make it?
Okay, I understand. It's so many choices, of course. And if I have a Portuguese people in my house, so of course I'm not the best representative to cook Portuguese food. It's because people who from here, I cannot compete. But if I have friends, normally I cook Georgian food, for instance, to show what we have. If I have against international people, I can cook some normally Portuguese food. But if I cook like seafood or fish, because I like a lot the fish, and the seafood is amazing in Portugal and very, very nice. So in case of traditional Portuguese food, I'm not the master. I'm not a cook.
But do you like it? What is your favorite gastronomy?
Let's say, like I said before, if you go to the seaside ocean, it's the best way because I like light food, elegant food, and like seafood, fish, it's amazing. Like bacalhau, for instance, it's very famous in Portugal. You can find a lot of good bacalhau. It's cod fish, so and seafood. So it's my favorite choices. In case of wine, it's again, if I have Portuguese people, I will try to show other wines, for instance, not Portuguese, or something special like boutique winery, small production. Let's say if I again something light food, lighter wines, heavier food, heavier wines. Yes, it's like my choice. So, but for instance, like you asked me also again, you have like here, you have a lot of my favorite producers. Yes.
Okay, so you have a big choice.
It's my room, so everywhere is bottles. So.
Wow, but it's a very nice decoration.
Yeah. So you can find a lot of like these bottles. I will be proud to open for any people, Portuguese or not Portuguese or international. And again, it depends on food. If it's more fresh, elegant food, it will be light white wines or something maybe sparkling from Bairrada, like maybe producer Wagyu or Barreiras Rosé, which is like for €5. It can be amazing, easy wine to, like for first time, or something light like maybe palette. Do you know what is palette in Portugal?
Not really.
Palette is the method of vinification when you do white or red grapes together.
Okay.
So it's also can sometimes very light, and for instance, like Frey, very famous producer for palette, and very easy.
And where is it in Portugal, the areas of this production, like to mix white and
It's
black?
most famous in Lisbon area. It's most famous in Lisbon.
Okay. But it's not Vina Verde.
No, in Novelda it's not typical.
Okay.
It's in
So
Lisbon, close to Óbidos. It's like 1 hour from Lisbon. Lisbon is not city. I mean region Lisbon. We have around 9 sub-regions, so you're quite famous for palette.
Okay,
Like
maybe I tried, but I did not pay attention.
It's like normally it's easy drinking fresh wines, for instance, like this.
But it's still a sparkling.
No, it's still.
Yeah. And what about the sparkling wines? What people drink there?
The most famous, it's again Bairrada. It's a region which is close to Aveiro city. It's Espumante is the name, and a lot of nice wines. And like I say, Wagyu, maybe my favorite sparkling. I don't have sparkling here, but I have the producers, for instance, like this one.
Oh, we love to see the bottles.
And he has very good two sparklings. He has a rosé and he has a Solera system sparkling. It's very nice. We also have another one, Barreiras. It's very famous. It's like very classic producer in Bairrada. He's maybe the most famous, like Luís Pato, Barreiras, Mario Sergio. He has like very good for price. You can buy like €6-7. Very nice espumante there, and enjoy.
And what is the wine style? Is it fruity, or it's really extra brut, or you can find everything?
You can find, of course, everything, like in many places. Normally it's dry. I like it. Can be a small dosage, but people normally prefer very small, maybe 5-4 grams, depends on producer. Sometimes no dosage.
And in general, the Portuguese people, they prefer to drink something extra dry or something more...
Yes. People like drink dry wines. If it will be sweet wines, it will be Porto, Madeira, of course, or fortified. And normally it's for dessert. It's not like people with normal food, of course.
With English cheese, like seal nut, or what is the name? I've read recently there is a very classical food pairing, like a glass of port and English cheese. It's like French Roquefort, but from England.
It can be, but Portuguese people, again, very patriotic about cheese. We have a lot of Serra Estrela. It's very famous for cheese. You have a lot of nice cheeses there, and not only. So almost all Portugal, you can find nice cheese.
Yeah, I completely agree. And do you travel a lot in Portugal, or you don't have a time?
No, nowadays it's difficult to travel, but now it's already you can. I was in Douro 5 days ago, visit wineries, but last 2 months mostly I was in Porto, close to the ocean, so not far away. But I was visit maybe also Portugal. I never visit Madeira for now, unfortunately, but all Portugal, all regions, wineries in different regions. Like I said before, I visit around 100 wineries, more or less, in Portugal. And I really like to go to Galicia a lot of times. So it's might be in Spain. North of Spain is my favorite place, like Galicia and the Basque country. So I really love to go to
Not
Galicia.
far away from us, finally.
Yeah. When we were in Bordeaux, I was going a lot to Basque country. Now I go a lot of times to Galicia and to Rías Baixas or Ribeira Sacra, because I have a lot of friends, and I love wines there. For me, Galicia, it's beautiful. In case of wine, in case of food, in case of people, like everything.
So you find your inspiration there?
Yeah. Like I said, for me, like Portugal, Spain, it's my country.
And have you been locked down in Portugal because it was so far away, like the end of the Europe? What about the COVID situation there?
No, we are one of the best countries who managed it. We don't have not very small, but I don't know, 20,000 and 25 in total. But we never were closed in home, so we always could go to outside to walk, to have a bike, to go. Only ocean was not allowed to go to the beaches, whatever. But otherwise it was nice. So I could go to 1 hour drive by bike to my friend to Aveiro or whatever, no problem.
Okay, so you did not really
No,
suffer.
I was very nice with my station. We have drinks with my friends outside. We went to ocean to riverside. It's okay.
So the winemakers are not depressed. Everything's
No.
okay.
We are always do disinfection by wine. It's okay.
Okay, lucky you. So next time when it will be possible, you are going to Galicia, as understood, yes?
Yeah. So we have again a lot of friends between my friends, and we have a lot of friends in Galicia. And now its border is still closed. I hope it will open in 2 weeks, maybe, or whatever. I think Spain is ready to open for Portugal because Portugal is a lot of low this infection, and so it's okay. Spain has more problem. Maybe Portugal will be afraid more. But of course, when border is open, I want maybe go to Galicia to visit some people because again, I still want to explore as much as possible about Albarino, because I make Albarino, and Galicia is the Rías Baixas. It's the best place in case of Albarino in the world. Like in Portugal, it's the best place. It's Melgaço and the Rías Baixas. So I want to explore as much possible.
Okay, so now I know everything about your next trips.
Yeah.
And what about our guest? Do you have some question about winemaking in Portugal? You have the last minutes to ask us because I have not seen a lot of questions. And I prepared some questions for you, Gio, you know.
Okay. Ask me.
Let's start with the easiest.
Okay.
White or red?
White.
White, okay. Champagne or sparkling wine?
Of course, champagne.
Champagne, so...
Nothing is better than champagne.
Okay. So, Lisbon or Porto?
Porto, no doubt.
Ruby or Tony?
Depends.
It's not accepted, depends.
It depends on my mood. Today, Ruby, tomorrow, Tony. But I'm not port drinker. I like more Madeira.
Okay, so another.
If I like port, old ones. In case of young, I prefer Madeira more because the Madeira have higher acidity. Port normally has low acidity, but you have some like Newport, like Vieira de Sousa. They have very fresh and with high acidity port. I like that ones.
But about the wine production, they still produce more grapes for making ports, or they prefer to produce more wine?
For now, it's more or less 50-50 in Douro. Or even still wine already more. It's still wine, I think, more already 60 maybe %. But it depends because you have a big classification. So you have the vineyards close to the river. Is the best when it's hotter places. It's the best for port. So normally this vineyards close to river down. It's for port production. If you go more higher, it's people they use for still wine.
Okay. So, and the last question.
Okay.
Are you ready? Touriga Nacional or Saperavi?
I will be more patriotic, Saperavi.
Oh, okay. I'm really surprised.
To be honest, Touriga Nacional, it's quite also strong grape like Saperavi. But in case of, I think I drank more nice Saperavi than Touriga Nacional because I'm not big fan of Touriga Nacional, to be honest. And I also not big fan of Saperavi also.
Okay, so you have your own options.
Yeah.
And it was a great pleasure for me to see you again today, even of our good weather, and that's why I was a little bit late. And hope all your projects will be realized. And thank you again for your time. So
thank you too.
If you're close to Basque Country, always can make us a sign.
Yes, I will come with pleasure to Spain or France. It's close by, and also if you come to Porto, let me know. We drink wine.
Yes, now I know the best addresses.
If you need some recommendation about anything connected to Portugal, also let me know. I cannot listen to you now. Sorry, something happened. no voice.
I don't know what.
Oh, no, now it's good. Now it's good. You
Okay.
had no voice.
Just give us a little recommendation, and I will write down for our guest for today, and I will copy this link today, and it will be available on our YouTube, so it will be for a memory.
Okay, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Okay, thank you. So have a lovely time, and
Yes.
bye bye.
Bye bye.
Так, завершить.